Go to, if you go to Amazon, it will educate you.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Okay. And then maybe you can make your decision.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, maybe I'll get it. I think we're starting. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my favorite song. Okay.
Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way. To make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my happiness, I know it makes me smile. It pleases me to have you here for just a little while we open up the spaces, try to break some chains, and if the truth is told, they will never come again. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible, I made it just this way. To make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la.
Always want to make sure Mama's here.
How's it coming? Helping. There we go. All righty.
And now that you have the floor.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Welcome to our morning. That's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's good to see everybody. We got a little sunshine coming through the windows, so that's awesome. We'll take it. Little sprinkles here and there. It's good too. Nice to see such bright, shining faces. And as you know, it takes a few of us to get things rolling in the morning. Thank you to Sally and Jamie, our musicians, for today. By popular demand, we are having a guest speaker online, Reverend Margie Hyatt. Yes, I think you might recognize the name, at least some of you folks, who she kind of grew up and was trained and blossomed through Unity, and now she's in Hawaii. But while I was trying to find which Margie Hyatt talk to do, I discovered online that she was sent to Melbourne, Australia at one point for 3 months to open a new Unity there.
Wow.
Yes, isn't that pretty cool? Yeah, so she's out there doing all kinds of fun stuff, but we're going to watch one of her talks this morning from 2014 called Common Threads. And let's see, Debbie Lee is our board member of the week, and she's double duty. She's also chaplain for today. Nora will do youth ed. If we have any kiddos join us this morning. Other than Nora, but you know. And we've got Mary Ellen and Ann for hospitality, and then of course everybody's part of the Spick and Span Angels. And we wouldn't be able to do all the stuff that we do that requires any kind of electricity without our technology director, Mark Swink. Yay! All right, and I'm platform today, Cindy Swink.
Yay!
All righty, let's have another song.
Sorry.
In this moment, in this time, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see yields love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear people gently say, there is only love, there is only love, love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you. Very nice. Alrighty. So do we have anybody here for the first time today? Well, hello there. Welcome. Did you get a red heart?
Yes, I did.
She did. Well, let me tell you what that's all about. If you're new today at Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know, no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcomed here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each of us, and we ask you to carry this symbol as a member of this Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you, and to share your heart wherever you go. The Red Heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. Good morning. All righty. And for those who are visiting us for the first time, we ask that you give us at least 2 or 3 chances. We've got different speakers each week, and you just never know what we might be up to. So we do lots of fun, different stuff. All right. So, Unity happenings. I do want to make an announcement to members with an email address, except a few kicked back. But for the most of you, if you haven't checked your email, please do. And if you don't see something from Unity of Bremerton, please check your junk folder. Alrighty, because it might have hidden in there. All right, upcoming events. Next Sunday, October 7th, we have Musical Sunday with Leo Brody. He's going to be sharing a lot of the different Unity songs that have really spoken to him, so it's going to be a good time. Please join us. The following Sunday, the 14th, we've got Michael Gregory. He's been here, done music for us twice, but he's also a minister, so he's going to be talking, and the music will be Sally and Jamie. So please come and join us for that one. October 21st, we have Reverend Joanna Gabriel with David Duvall. And I got an email from Joanna yesterday and told her that we were thinking of her, and she said she's doing well, and she can't wait to see us on the 21st. So she says she will be here. That's also the day of our annual congregational meeting. Hopefully most of you, we've been trying to hand out the postcards. Those of you that we didn't hand them out to, please stop by and see us before you leave. We will mail the rest of them, trying to keep costs down. But members will be getting postcards if they aren't here today. And then, of course, November 17th, we have the craft fair and bazaar coming up, so please think about any items you might want to donate or create for that event. And then stay tuned, because you never know what we might be up to. And we've got our board member of the week announcement. That's Debbie.
Good morning. This might be a little shorter than I thought because some of the items have already been mentioned, but one of our reminders every week is to please be aware that we're live streaming our service. We ask that you keep conversation down because it is being picked up, especially during the candle lighting and paper burning portion of our service. And also please take a moment to make sure that your cell phones are off or on vibrate. We also want to remind everyone that prayer request forms are available in the pocket on the back of the seats, and you can put them in the prayer box right up here, or put them in the offertory bag as they're passed around. And the chaplains are also available to pray with you after service on Sundays, and I'm very pleased to be your chaplain today. I'll meet you back there in that corner. Unity of North Kitsap has a weekly meditation. Thursday, October 4th at 7 p.m. is the next one. Mindful walking meditation is the topic. It's been scientifically documented that doing any ordinary activity more slowly with more awareness improves the functioning of our brains. And if we choose to walk mindfully, the motor coordination centers of our brains will help our bodies move more gracefully and efficiently with less pain. Join Leslie Hamill to learn the how-tos of this practice. Meditations are held in the fellowship hall at Faith Episcopal in Paulsbo, and everyone is welcome. As Cindy mentioned, the Craft Bazaar is coming on November 17th. We ask that you please also stop by the table in the fellowship area to see all of the different sign-up sheets we have for events that we are coming up. We have a variety of activities going on each month. And stay tuned for even more items that come up during these fall months. And if you really want to stay up to date, just make sure you're signed up for our weekly e-blast newsletter. If you're not already on the e-blast, there's a sheet to sign up for in the fellowship area. And as Cindy mentioned also, the annual congregation meeting will be held on October 21st. She talked about your postcards. We do want to mention that we have a few seats on the board that are opening up, and the candidates will be voted on at this meeting. And if you're interested in being a board member, please talk to one of the current board members. And as always, if you have any suggestions, questions, or concerns, please see a board member. Thank you.
See, always all kinds of stuff going on. All right. So now we'll do the lighting of the Christ candle. This candle represents the divine light within each of us, and then we'll read our mission statement together. Okay, together.
We are a welcoming community supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth.
And our invocation and statement of faith.
There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotence.
And now it's time for handshakes and hugs. So be gentle, you never know where someone might be hurting, and if you're not a hugger, shove your hand out because we're a huggy bunch. And then hurry back, there's fellowship later, so just real quick.
We're a family bunch.
So welcome.
I'm Liz.
Oh yeah, there won't be a quiz later, I promise. This is Millie. How did you find us, Liz?
Welcome.
Beautiful. So online, that's a wonderful thing.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
So welcome.
I'm Marilyn. And you are?
I'm Liz.
Well, then we're just about the same, aren't we? Oh, Elizabeth. Oh, excuse me.
Good morning. Good morning. You look so lovely this morning. It's getting longer again. I think I got too short. Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm Liz. Okay, nice to meet you. Hey, here you are. Good morning, honey. Good morning.
How come all kids are so...
Oh, you're braver than me.
I think it bothers my neck.
Hey there.
Oh my gosh, where do you go to eat
Take it very personally.
Next time I see her,
She will. Trust me, she will. Hi, I'm Maureen.
she's my sweetie.
Start my day with love, start my day with love. That's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love, when I start my day with love. That's what I get more of, is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace, when I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love.
It's fun looking out here at all the two-leggeds and the four-legged member. Welcome, Flora. Today's daily word is balance. Work, play, rest, and prayer are balanced in my life today. Creating a new dimension of consciousness, one that Jesus called the kingdom of heaven, is my purpose as I move through this day. Achieving that goal requires time and commitment, and I do what is mine to do with gratitude and appreciation. However, rest, relaxation, and prayer are also elements that are vital to my spiritual well-being. My mortal mind tends to overemphasize negative, fear-based challenges at the expense of light and love that fill even my gloomiest days. Balance occurs when I surrender my mortal mind to the infinite mind of spirit within me. There, I will find my day perfectly balanced in rewarding and surprising ways among work, rest, relaxation, and prayer. From Ecclesiastes 3, verses 10 and 11. I have seen the business that God has given to everyone to be busy with. He has made everything suitable for its time. Today, work, play, rest, and prayer are balanced in my life. God bless us.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven today, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing beauty today. I'm choosing beauty today. I am walking the road of heaven today, singing, I'm choosing beauty today. I'm choosing life today. I'm choosing life today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing life today. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right
all good.
They're not up on the board. That was a change in the, that was a song, yeah.
Okay, I've done this song a few times, three times before, and every time I always thank Daryl, because he was the one that introduced us all to it. I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry, all who dwell in dark and sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Want to sing along? It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I am Lord of snow and rain. I have borne my people's pain. I have wept for love of them. They turn away. I will break their hearts of stone. Give them hearts for love alone. I will speak my word to them. Whom shall I send? I have heard your Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I will hold your people in my heart.
That was lovely. See, Daryl continues to give and give and give.
Yeah.
You gotta love that. Alrighty, well, here is a blast from the past, Miss Reverend Margie Hyatt.
Yay!
Oh, that's just
She was in the first chapter of class.
I hear the blessing of rain outside. I want to know what God thinks, said Albert Einstein. The rest is just details. Well, sometimes I wonder, what would God have been thinking if God were that anthropomorphized energy rather than just simply a force field in which we move? But if God were thinking in the way that we do, how is it you imagine that so many traditions of faith sprung into being on this planet. We're all seeking after the same thing, essentially, the ability to live life to advantage, to the fullest, the desire to understand this energy from which we have come forth, to understand our purpose, to move successfully in the process of being a human, and to move in that energy of faith and with joy and delight at being here in the human experience. Now, if we're all headed to the same place, why does the journey look so different? Well, if you're in relationship, you know, because two people can be headed in exactly the same direction and going in completely opposite directions to get there. We humans have the ability to just land all over the place, headed in one direction on any topic. And on the topic of our religious understanding, our seeking after our knowing about God, or whatever we call this creative force, oh, have there been a multitude of expressions sprung up on the planet to fit the needs of the vast uniqueness of our own journeys. And then we gather in those communities, and even here in our Unity Church, don't we all have a bunch of different ideas about how to go about things and how we perceive God and how we define that and how we relate to it? And that's one of the beauties for me about Unity, is that individual unique expression is A-OK. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, said the truth is an organic process, and that as he grew in his understanding, those of us who are studying the Fillmore writings, we recognize how he changed his ideas across the decades that he wrote and taught and spoke about his understanding of the divine energy that moves in all of us. So I thought it might be an interesting little tour this morning if we tiptoed through some of the basic threads that yet still weave us all together for whatever our differences as humans, that stuff we notice on the outside that makes us different, as well as this deep piece of us on the inside, the differences of how it is we're making this journey toward our deepening understanding of the creative force within us and that surrounds us. How interesting it is that there are still common threads that weave all of the world traditions together. And as we seek to come to understanding with a friend, a partner in relationship, within a community, within our state where there are a vast difference of views in the political arena or in our globe, where we humans seem to be in struggle of being in relationship peacefully, I wanted to just remind us of how much commonality binds us together. But now, don't mistake the commonality for the simplistic idea that all faiths are the same, because as sure as my thinking is different from yours on any old topic, in the expression of the common threads in the world faiths, there are so many differences in how we believe we ought to go about anything. We're going to weave a tapestry of what's going on in the world faiths. And we'll begin with one that's common to almost all of our knowing as children. In my Presbyterian church, one of the great teachings in Sunday school that we focused on was this understanding of the golden rule. If I desire it, can I also desire it for you? It's a central teaching in our Unity preschool, not in churchified language, if you will, but how to be in relationship with respect and regard for one another, even as we know children want what they want when they want it right now, but can they come together with mutual regard for one another? A central teaching in that preschool. It's always fun to watch the outplay of that on Thursday mornings in Keiki Chapel. Now, usually the staff is the group that gets to enjoy that, but I want to invite you to come Thursday morning, 9 o'clock, right here. 95 little kids here in the front of the church. We adults up here on the platform leading them in songs like Itsy Bitsy Spider, thank you, the alphabet song, and This Little Light of Mine. So maybe you'll have more fun watching the adults play with the children, and then one of us tells a story with a teaching that the children can access. Just a good solid children's book that gives them a lesson to send them off to the day. And then a couple of us, 3 or 4 of us maybe, sit over here at the door and they all file out one by one, and we get greetings and hugs and smooches and high fives and from all these little kids. So if you want a Thursday morning treat, 9 o'clock, be here in the back of the chapel as the spectating section. But this central teaching of the Golden Rule has threads through many of the world faiths. Some we know. From Matthew in our Christian scriptures, in everything, do to others as you would have them do to you. For this is the law and the prophets. Now, when Jesus interpreted the law, meaning the principles that upheld life, that the law that was life-affirming, not the rigid law and the set of rules, but the understanding of the presence of God within, opening up the ability to live well. As well as the prophets, he was referring to the ancient teachings. So from ancient times, this has been a principle. Do to others as you would have done to you. Extend to others the same regard that you would like to be met with. And from the Talmud, the Hebrew tradition, Judaism, what is hurtful to yourself, do not to your fellow man. That is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Go and learn. I think maybe Einstein stole his quote from somewhere. The whole of the Torah, this one piece of wisdom, is the foundation on which we could learn and study and build successful communities, build successful relationships, build a successful life from here to the end of time. If we focused on this idea alone, we would change life on this planet. And other faiths know it besides our Western faiths. From the Islam tradition, do unto all men as you would wish to have done unto you. Reject for others what you would reject for yourselves. This is so central a theme of building respect and regard for one another that it literally exists in every single faith on the planet. It exists in ancient wisdom that was not religiously centered. The Greek philosophers and others before them all held this one idea to be a great truth. In the Chinese Confucianism, the teacher Lao Tzu was met by a student, and the student asked, is there one principle on which one's whole life may proceed? And Lao Tzu answered, is not reciprocity such a principle? What you do not yourself desire, do not put before others. Here is a central teaching within unity that heaven is within. Now let me lay some unity groundwork to this. How we understand the term of heaven is not some destination far off at the end of life that if I'm good now, I'll get there at the end of the game. It is not the thing I'm seeking for the next life experience, although that may be part of it. And it certainly isn't that destination that I'm asking my cosmic travel agent to book my ticket for. No, it is for us, our understanding of an inner state of consciousness, a way to be in relationship with ourself and the divine. And when we are moving through life, focused on joy, focused on what is good, focused on living in alignment with our understanding of the God within our being, then we move toward this experience of heaven as consciousness. And we recognize that it rests on our choice, that we can choose to be attached to all that is good going on, or we can choose to be focused on the problems. And let me give you an example. Yesterday here in the office, oh baby, did we hit a problem. Now we have a shared drive computer system here, a whole network that links us all together, and it has a central brain of all the data that we need in this community. That central shared drive, we call it Popoki. The man who created our computer system in its current incarnation was a lover of cats. And so Popoki is cat in Hawaiian, and that's the name of our computer system. So everybody who comes in has to learn that. Just get over it. It's cat. That's what it is. And so Popoki, as well as our internet, total crash, burn, and fail of the system yesterday. Yes, I can see some open mouths in the audience. You understand the catastrophe that took place. I had an evening event that I was going and participating for the Unity Preschool and giving them a blessing on their event. And so this trouble began in the morning, and we simply thought it was some kind of connectivity thing. And so I took the laptop and went home for the afternoon where I had internet access to, do my Google research that I always do. And when I came back in before heading over to the event, here were Levitt and Gary and Owen in the back room with a story of total meltdown in our system. And I just stood there going, "Oi, okay, this is not great news." And my brain sort of went into like all of the problem story. I'm just standing there in the middle of the room listening to them, and my brain is going, and this is bad, and this is going to be a problem, and here's the trouble. And I just had this story, ba-chunk-a-chunk-a-chunk, and I literally felt my body going like this. You know that one? So there was a little ray of hope as Owen the magician and Gary and Levitt were working to make magic in that back room. So I just kind of picked myself up and I said, I don't know what the answer is. I barely speak computer. I really don't know what the answer is. But someplace in me knew that this team working together, finding the experts we needed, there will be a solution. We have the internet up this morning, thanks to that team that was working on it. Popoki does seem to be dead, but we're all going to go pray over our server later, so if you want to come join us, we'd appreciate your energy in that. Just because that's what we do. We invite divine order to move in the community in all ways, and that's how we experience, that's how we express outwardly the experience of heaven within. And we are not the only ones in Unity to know this great truth, that the experience is of our choosing, and when we focus on the positive, more positive shows up. What the undeveloped man seeks is outside. What the advanced man seeks is within himself, from the Confucianism faith. All of this outside stuff that goes on in all of our lives. Oh, it's juicy, and it's lots of fun, and we love to dance in it, and sometimes we can really spin in it, but it is not the valuable piece of life. It just simply is the playground in which we are choosing to have the experience of heaven, the light and joy and possibility, or we are choosing the experience of hell, trouble, problems, and more of the same. So sometimes I spin in that little story of what's not working, but I try to focus as quickly as possible on, even if I don't know what it is, there is an answer, and a sense of calm returns. Because I might still be dealing with the catastrophe of having lost our server, but yet I can then approach it from the space of heaven within, bringing peace and harmony, at least to me, at least to me, in the situation as I deal with the problem. In Shintoism, do not search in distant skies for God. In man's own heart is he found. In my interfaith work here on the island, there's a couple of Shinto priests who come and participate often in our ceremonies and our rituals and our prayer gatherings. And they have this lovely tradition to catch your attention and move you from that place of there is a problem here, disconnect from that, and move to the source. Move back to your knowing that there will be a solution. So in their rituals, they want to chase that energy, that negativity, out of the way. And so they clap. And I always have this response to it, like, wake up, you know? Let go of that so I can move and be open for the joy, the light, the problem-solving knowledge within me so that I can return to heaven. In Buddhism, the Lotus Sutra, if you think the law is outside yourself, you are embracing not the mystic law, but some inferior teaching. Buddha taught to go within. The great tradition of meditation is certainly grounded in this faith the world over and has been for centuries, that we seek this experience of heaven. We seek the divine. We seek wisdom by going deeply within to seek truth. There is a story in the Buddhist tradition that the chief of gods, Brahma, had bestowed divinity on all of humanity. And then, as we humans will mess about with a really good thing, we abused our power of divine essence. And so Brahma called all the council together and he said, humanity has just abused this gift of divinity. Until they rise in consciousness to a place where they can adequately and appropriately hold this gift, I think we need to put it in hiding. We need to hide humankind's divinity. One of the council said, well, let's place it on the highest mountaintop on the planet. And Brahma said, you know, clever person, clever being, man, I'm sure they will eventually find their way even to the highest mountain on earth. Another counselor says, let's put it down on the ocean floor. They can't get there. Humans don't belong in the environment of the ocean. And Brahma said, clever beings, humans, eventually they will find a way to dive and go even to the bottom of the ocean and be able to retrieve the gift of divinity. And another one said, let's bury it deep in the earth where they will never find it. But Brahma said, so clever, I believe they would find it even there. But I think I know where to hide the gift of divinity so that man will never, ever find it until consciousness raises and brings them the knowledge of where it exists. We'll place it inside, deep within the heart and being of mankind, for they won't think to look for it there. Until consciousness is raised, and we come to the knowing that the place to seek the truth and the wisdom is within our own heart and our own being. We are invited to live wholeheartedly. Now, in contemporary language, for me, that means to be in a heart-centered space, a place of empathy, where I can connect with you and you can connect with me, and we find the common ground even when issues separate us. And so if I'm in a struggle with another individual, I just literally breathe into my heart and imagine that every breath I'm taking is passing in through my heart, and every exhalation is leaving through the filter of my heart. For me, this grounds me in this connection with the God of my being and brings me back to the idea of namaste, that the Christ in me greets and meets and honors the Christ in you. For when I am even in struggle communicating from that place, then my true essence comes to the front. My greater wisdom becomes the voice with which I speak. My compassion and my empathy become the tools of my interaction. And how this is expressed in some of our various faiths is wherever you go, employ all your heart. We cannot be of two minds. For if we're in a conversation with someone that has some tension with it, and we get all wrapped up in what's wrong and how, especially how they're wrong, you know, Gordon, I think that's so often about you when I talk with you, my friend. When we can remember not what we think is wrong, especially with that other person, or not what we think is wrong in this situation, but if we can hold the thought that somewhere in this mess I am presently standing in, there is common ground. There is space to create togetherness rather than opposition. If I can hold that space, then I become wholehearted. I become of a single purpose, and a single purpose that is life-affirming, not constricting and contracting. Again, in the Shintoism, free yourself from doubt and you will find your life quickened in the goodness of God. This is why in our own teaching, we focus on faith as one of our great spiritual powers and tools. That when we center ourselves by choice, and we bring ourselves back by choice to this spot of standing in the midst of the truth of God within me, the truth as best I know it in this moment, then we can open space for positive movement. We can shift the energy of a relationship. Who knows, maybe we'll heal a computer server. I am willing to try. But when you free yourself from doubt, you find your life quickened. You find your life filled, enhanced with the goodness of God. From the Hebrew Scriptures, what we often call the Old Testament, and this is the Message translation, sometimes I just love its enthusiasm. Whatever turns up, grab it and do it, and heartily. Whatever is before you, whatever you put your hand to in the more traditional language, do it with your whole being. Do it with the commitment of your heart and your wisdom and your whole self. And from the New Testament, or the Christian Scriptures in James, he who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. You know, a week or two ago, we had these really great waves, and I went to somebody I know who's a surfer, and I said, are you just having like the best week ever out there in the ocean? And he said, you know, not so much, because the wind is so high that it's breaking up the wave, and it destroys the energy in the way that makes it much harder to surf. So we're not really getting the opportunity the last couple of days to fully enjoy the magnificence of big surf that we all hope for. And this is like our experience. When doubt enters in, it breaks up our energy. It can interrupt our connection to that power and presence of God. And so to be focused energy helps keep the wave smooth, helps keep our energy moving in alignment with all that is and with our own inner purpose. Here in this particular community, we indeed focus on this principle of living in oneness. It is literally our mission statement. Realizing our oneness with God, and especially with one another, coming together in the place of our mutual understanding, even as we express life in our uniqueness and with our differences. And this looks in our Old Testament, again, Hebrew Scriptures, how very good and pleasant it is when kindred live together in unity. I've often wondered if that isn't the source of Charles Fillmore's deciding on the name for this spiritual movement as unity. That it was this simple understanding that whenever we can come together, the sum of the parts is so much greater than the whole. When we focus together in one thing, the idea of oneness and the idea of our being in relationship, then the differences fade into less importance in the context of community. And in Shintoism again, do not forget that the world is one great family. But we practice the idea of ohana here in our island home, in the Calabash family. My mother came from the mainland, from Seattle, as a teenager, and intending to just be here for a couple of weeks of vacation. Sailed here from Seattle with her mother to stay with friends from Seattle who also apparently had a home here. This was way before my time. But because my mother had a very powerful experience here, only for 6 months, she moved here, intending to be here for a holiday, stayed the rest of that school year, and graduated high school here in Honolulu from Punahou. During the time she was here, she became a Hanai daughter in a local family. So I grew up on my mother's love of the Hawaiian culture and her connection to that family. And how that represented it decades later when I finally came along. I grew up with every episode of Hawaii Five-0 and Jack Lord that ever was produced. And then Tom Selleck and Magnum P.I. And Mother's collection of, she still had some record albums. Remember record albums back in the day that she brought home from Hawaii? And then if anyone in the family wanted to make Mom happy, you just gave her an audio tape. You remember that era too? Yeah. An audio tape of Hawaiian music. So she had this big library of Hawaiian music, and that's what I steeped in growing up. You'd think I'd have learned the language, except neither did she. So there you have it. And in Hinduism, human beings all are as head, arms, trunk, and legs unto one another. We all are different, and yet together we form the whole. We come together to experience that wholeness in community, in ohana. But all of it is at our choice. I love the quote that says, the presence of God awaits, is always there, but it awaits our invitation. So we choose to hold the experience of heaven. We choose to live in oneness. We choose to travel together to the top of the mountain that we're striving for, even as our paths may be different. So perhaps you've heard this Buddhist fable that a ruler in India heard the discovery of a marvelous and amazing animal in the jungle. And so he sent his council of wise men to go investigate and bring back the stories of this new creature. Well, all of these advisors happened to be blind. So as they approached this animal, they each took a position on this large creature and began to report what their experience was. And one says, "Oh, this is a tree. It's just this is a trunk. Here's the tree." And the other one standing somewhere else says, "It's not a tree. I feel a rope at where I am." And another one says, "Not at all. I have a hard-shaped thing with a sharp tip at the point. It's a spear." And the guy standing next to him says, "A spear? It's not hard. It's wiggly and soft, and it's like a snake." And a guy up above says, No, I have a hold of a fan." And the one man on the ground says, "I don't know what each of you are touching, but I feel a wall." And so when we are in our differences, the uniqueness of our experience makes one collective thing look rather unusual. But if we remember that my perspective is simply this moment in this spot, and if, like the God who seated in humanity the need for different expressions in religion and in all areas of life, if that energy could step back and see from a distance, not just the one piece that we have a hold of, but when we look to see the whole, we understand that there are common threads that bind us together, even as we face great differences. So I invite you to take a breath with me and to come to that space of vision from a distance that allows you to sense your wholeheartedness in living, that allows you to seek and choose the experience of heaven. Breathe into that space of the choice of living in oneness with regard for our unique qualities, and yet choosing to focus on those common threads. So in this space of consideration of the whole, we come to God in the silence.
Jamie was mentioning the fact that he repeated a song that he does a lot, and I do the same thing because we do sing here a lot, and we like to sing the songs that we like as well as the songs that you like. So anyway, I think this is one of the ones that you do like, and sing on the chorus if you know it, and I'm sure you do.
Everything I see, not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. Everything I want the world to be is now coming true, especially for me, and the reason is clear, it's because you are here. You're the nearest thing to heaven that I've seen. I'm on the top of the world. a pleasing sense of happiness for me. There is only one wish on my mind. When this day is through, I hope that I will find that tomorrow will be just the same for you and me. All I need will be mine if you are here. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love puts me at the top of the world. One more time. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love puts me at the top of the world.
All right, so what did you think of Margie's talk?
Oh,
Was it good? Was it good? Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
Do you happen to know, was that when she was with Sky? Or
No, that was-
Or is
no,
that
that's-
after?
It was 2014? Yeah, so
Is that right?
That was after Scott.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know who Sky is.
He was
He
the
was the main
minister.
minister.
Oh, gotcha. No, I think it's a Tim Little, I think is
Yeah.
the current.
So is this at her
Senior.
new church or the old church? Does anybody know?
She's at Unity Church of Hawaii. She did do the 3 months to setting up in Melbourne, but as far as I know, she's still there. And she was on, when I went to the website, she's still showing as
Oh,
on staff
that's,
there.
that's the new church then.
Oh, is that new? Well, there you go. So, yay, how cool. All right. So, as you are preparing your tithes and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are. And just a side note, we will be contributing 10% of what we collect today to Unity Church of Hawaii to thank them for
Awesome.
this. So, how blessed you are, and as you are writing your check or giving your gift, send your blessings out.
Bring it in. Oh, person.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. 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 I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am
Okay, all right, Debbie
Debbie?
and Debbie. Nora, can you join us? We can have a
I
break.
sure can.
Thank you, darling. All right, together.
I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and I receive with gratitude.
Thanks, God. Thank you. All right, well, good news. We always love this part. I want to remind everybody, we do have a get well card for Reverend Joanna in the first table in the fellowship area. So if you want to sign up, please do. I'm going to mail it out before I leave or on my way out today. So if you want to sign up, please do. And I know we've got some special good news. Ms. Tracy.
Some of you have met her. This is Flora. And she came to me rather quickly. All the pieces just fell into place. I don't know how many of you know the story that was in the news, that was in the newspaper about the home in Chico.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Yeah, and
They confiscated a bunch of.
it was absolutely horrendous. And her life was, up until now, spent in that home. So she's one of the rescue dogs from the Chico house.
Oh, wow.
She had no socialization. It's one of the main reasons I brought her, so she can learn to, you know, be with other people. And she's not potty trained and she's not leash trained. She has lots of problems because of what she went through. But we're getting on with things and learning. Sometimes it's kind of hard, but we are learning. And I adopted her from the Kids Up Humane Society, and I have to tell you, they were the most pleasant, wonderful people And they guided me so well during the adoption process. And they were so kind to me. And there were 26 dogs in this house that
Did they all get adopted?
there's
They're
still
still up there?
Yeah, there's still some on the website. They're being held back, some of them, because they're not ready to
Oh, okay.
to go to their forever home.
But they saved them.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. There was no euthanization.
That was, I think I read that.
Yeah. So if
Horrible.
there's anything that you can donate, time, treasure, a prayer, they just got way loaded with this, with all these animals from the Chico house, so.
Wow.
But they were absolutely wonderful in the adoption process that I went through. And I highly recommend that if you're looking for your forever baby, that the Humane Society would be a great place to be. So, thank you.
Tracy.
Welcome forward.
Oh, I have good news.
Yay.
We had a fun day yesterday. My granddaughter, I have 5 grandchildren, and not the oldest one, but the next one, got married yesterday. So, gosh, you know what that does biologically to me? And the prospects next, my next title coming, I'm way too young for that. But anyway, it was a beautiful ceremony, and they're doing great. And they have a wonderful future ahead, and we're excited for them.
Awesome, congratulations.
Yay. Have another grandson.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Oh, yes, I must.
Oh.
Yay! God has just showered me with abundance and has been for a while, and I am so grateful, and I just want to stand up and say that, and I just am so grateful, and so I applied to refinance my home, and I found out it was worth quite a bit more than I thought it was, so I have like this ton of equity in it, and it looks like the refinance is going to go through, so I'll have some money to put into the house, you know, where it needs some stuff done, because it's 100 years old this year.
Wow.
And so things go out, you know, and
Yeah.
stuff. So, you know. So I just wanted to share that, because it's important.
I did want to share one of our dear members, Gordon, had some oral surgery, so we won't see him for a couple of weeks, but he said to, you know, put the word out there. If you'd like to share a prayer of healing for him, he'd appreciate that. But, so hi, Gordon. And hi, George and Lois, and Mary, and whoever else may be watching. We love you and miss you. So there you go. Any other good news?
I saw my grandkids again.
Well, there you
I
go.
get to see them so regularly. My next door neighbor, next door to me is a little 5-year-old boy that likes to come and play when they're. So he saw me the other day. He says, "Hi neighbor, do you have your kids with you today?"
Nice, you're getting roots.
Yes. So my goal is to sort of try to see them at least once a week and have them, you know. Yeah, that's how I get to see my son.
Quality grandma time. That's awesome. See, and you were worried you weren't going to see them, so there you go. It all works out. That's beautiful. Miss Millie.
Yes, I've mentioned before I've started this new healing health center, Agape Healing Center, and it's at a healing place, and I have some cards here. I'd love to have you, invite you over. Wednesday night will be the sacred night, and I will be doing some pre-workshops, and I will be doing some other kinds of trainings, both for movement and ecstatic dance and different things to do with movement and other kinds of educational things. So I'd love to have you come see it. I'm very excited about the space. I have plenty of space to do the larger groups and movement, and another very sacred space to work with smaller groups. So
Wonderful. All right, so further to that, we can talk about that at fellowship. Any other good news? All right, well, with that, just a reminder that Debbie, did you have some good news?
I'm blessed for being here for all of you guys.
Oh, well, thank you for visiting us. Thank you. Wonderful.
She came in late, and I gave her a red heart, but she didn't hear what the red heart welcome was about.
Oh,
Do you think
I
it'd
would
be
be
all right to
happy.
read it to her?
Oh, you know, I'd read this all day long, so it's all good. So, if you are new today at Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcomed here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each of us, and we ask you to carry this symbol as a member of this Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you, and to share your heart wherever you go. The red heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. Welcome. All right, well with that, Miranda and Liz. That's wonderful, so thank you so much. All right, no kiddos today, so we'll just sing our peace song.
So stand and join hands.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever